Before we get into the video, I quickly want to talk about his build. There's been a lot of changes to Mirage since I last covered him on the channel, and the biggest change being his scarabs. Scarabs now drain HP over time instead of doing it all at once, and you can hit the same target multiple times, and then it refreshes the duration of the scarab. Also, when you put 2 points into his ultimate ability and you teleport to an ally, they also gain movement speed and fire rate. And if you teleport to an enemy, the closest teammate within 30 meters gets the buff. In his build, you can buy from left to right. You use Quicksilver reload on 3. You can buy both barriers if you want, as they're really good on Mirage. Duration extender also extends the duration of scarabs. And then we just do a traditional route where you can go sharpshooter or headhunter. It's up to you. You can do both. I would say that the armors, mystic slow, silence glyph, all of that is situational. And then for your first 6k item, you need to make a choice if you're going for tank or gun. If you go for gun, you go for crippling headshot. If you go for tank, you go for siphon bullets. And also, Mirage got a visual upgrade. He looks really nice right now. He has new animations. His gun looks on point. It's funny to think that this used to be the original Mirage model that we were playing with. And by the way, I do private coaching in Deadlock, so make sure to head on over to my Discord for more information, and let's get right into the video. Alright, we're back with another one, and today I'm covering Sharik, who's one of the best Mirage players in the world. It's in a very high Eternus lobby, and he's gonna be laning into an Infernus. They're about to do a lane swap here. One thing about Infernus that you need to watch out for is his burn. He tries to build it on you, and then when he has the burn ticking on you, he tries to flame dash. One nice thing that you can do against the flame dash is that as soon as Infernus flame dashes, you can jump on top of the bridge, and that just makes it completely useless. You can just stand up here, you can poke him, or you can find an escape path. But as soon as he flame dashes, just jump up on top of the bridge if you're in a solo lane, and it makes it so much easier to deal with him. Also, we start with fire scarabs, and remember that you just throw it on your target, and then you just try to refresh the duration as much as possible. This gives you max HP, and it drains the opponent's max HP. So if we just take a quick look at Infernus here, look, his max HP is 402 HP. Meanwhile, Sharik is 748. Mirage is in an insane state right now. I think Mirage is one of the strongest laners in the game. He's strong in general. He was very strong, but in this patch, just with the fact that scarabs drain HP and also that you can refresh the duration, it's just absolutely insane. Combo that with his 3 ability, you stack it up a lot, you drain their HP, and suddenly they're super low. You can really bully anyone out of lane as long as you have your scarabs up. So we start with scarabs, and then we go with the tornado. It's just really good to catch people off guard. For example, if Infernus ults, we can use our tornado to dodge his stun. Keep in mind that if you tornado somebody and you try to heavy punch them, they can still parry while lifted. A lot of Mirage players fall into that trap, and they do end up getting parried against better players. So just remember that if you have the habit of punching somebody while they're tornadoed, I would say just stop and just shoot them instead. Maybe try to bait out the parry from their end and then punch them. Starts with Ammo Scav. I think it's a really good item on Mirage. All of his abilities scale with spirit damage, and it's also really nice to get that extra bit of ammo. Also makes securing souls way easier. Yeah, we don't need to do anything crazy here. We're just shooting and poking Infernus wherever we can, and then trying to hit our scarabs whenever they're up. Goes for Hollow Point Ward next, so we get a bit of extra damage, a bit of spirit power, but also that spirit shield is really nice against his burn. If it was a more bullet-oriented lane, then Headshot Booster might be the play. But in this case, I think Hollow Point Ward fits in perfectly. And the main focus is always going to be on the wave. You just want to farm the wave as much as possible. And then during downtime, you try to poke. And whenever your scarabs are up, you can just do that. And there you go. There's the tornado. And then if Infernus would chase us here, we can just jump up on the bridge and play safely, because the flame dash is just useless. That is one way to counter the new Infernus. I do think that Infernus is very strong. I've done 2 videos on him recently with the new build, and he's in a very good spot. But if you do solo lane into Infernus, the biggest counter honestly is just dodging his flame dash, and Mirage is really good at doing so, because he can tornado the flame dash, lift up Infernus, and he can't chase us. And absolutely, we're in the worst case scenario, we can just jump up on top of the bridge. Now we have our 3 ability unlocked. He has rapid rounds as well to increase the fire rate. It's also very nice to get that movement speed going. I think it's really cool how Mirage looks right now. His animations are just super nice. With the wave being frozen, then there's not super much to do. We can just grab a couple of boxes. We grab our next item, which is extra health. One nice thing about extra health is that it gives you quite a bit of weapon damage. So now we're doing a significant amount of damage with our gun. And also, the channel is almost at 40,000 subscribers. So if you want to help me out, hit that sub button. And yeah, let's keep the content going. Hopefully you like it. Goes for the golden urn there. Get a bit of extra max HP going. I always find it funny that you can read the chat during replays from both sides. Always a bit interesting. Just poking back and forth. And remember, when you get your 3000 souls, you unlock your ultimate ability. And Mirage doesn't have an insane power spike like other characters. For example, Infernus gets his ult, right? Lash gets his ult, Pocket ult, Vindicta gets Assassinate, Shiv gets his Assassinate, right? We don't really have a super big power spike on Mirage, but what's nice is that we can teleport to anybody on the map as long as they're visible. Another play that you can do, let's say you go extra aggressively on someone and you're low HP, you can just speed boost back to base and then you can TP back onto the opponent whenever they're back in lane. Tornado away and you're just safe with full HP. There's the Mirage, the Infernus Flame Dash. And I think Infernus realized that he can't really do super much against us right now, because if he tries to Flame Dash in, we Tornado out, and I think we win the trade as Mirage. Again, Mirage is in a super good state. He's very strong right now. During downtime, just going for some boxes. One thing that kind of nerfed Mirage with the Scarab change, though, is that we don't jungle as fast anymore. Because before, you would just hit the Scarabs on each jungle monster and they would die very fast. Now the Scarab drains HP, that HP that it would steal over time instead. So jungling is a little bit slower. We get Quicksilver reload there, and we put it on 3. It's super nice to have it on 3 because you basically have a reload on command. You see, he's still jungling with the Scarabs, but it's just going to be a little bit slower. Trying to stack that 3 on each monster, just to clear them a bit faster. I mean, in general, Mirage's clear is not that bad. Now that we have extra fire rate with rapid rounds and also with Quicksilver reload, it is pretty efficient still. Just a tiny bit slower than what it used to be. And just keeping track of the minimap to see if there's any opportunity for us to TP. Remember, when you have 2 points in your TP, you now grant the Traveler buff to an ally. If you TP on top of an enemy, it gives it to the closest ally within 30 meters. Just a nice buff to the ult. Mirage is definitely a clear winner in this patch. Another build that you can try is Deathy's Gun Mirage. It's a bit of a variation of this one. If you're not having success with this and you want a little bit more gun damage, because this is more of a gun tank build, I would say. If you want a bit more damage and a different build path, definitely check out Deathy's build. But for now, I would recommend Sharik's build. It's been working for him really well. I've been trying it out in high Eternus lobbies too and had very good success with it. Another thing that I recommend you to do on Mirage or any character with a high impact ult is to go into one of your replays and then hit the ability and then go to each of these green markers here, because that's the timing where you use your ult, and then just VOD review that. Just look at the situation, just look at the ult timing and ask yourself, was this good or was this bad, and then reevaluate the situation and remember that for the future. Just analyze your ult timings, because you can have insane impact with your ult on Mirage. Another character that comes to mind, for example, Ivy. You can have so much impact with Ivy ult, so checking that in your replays is valuable too. Just any character where you feel like your ult has a lot of impact, just look at the ult timings, look at when you use them, and then just try to see where you can improve there. It's all about squeezing those percentages for your win rate. Sitting on a lot of gold now. I wonder what he's gonna buy. He buys long range there. Very good item in general. I mean, you get 30% weapon damage if it's beyond 15 meters. You have faster reload time, you get bullet shield and weapon damage on top of it. So we're just scaling our bullet damage here very hard. Gun Mirage is just in an insane spot. I'm not sure about Spirit Mirage. I know some people like to play it, but I definitely think that you get more value from Gun Mirage. And as you can see there, we're just kiting Infernus. Whenever he flame dashes in, we can always tornado him, and I do believe that this is gonna lead into a kill. We're just stacking our 3, we're shooting him, McGinnis ganks, and Infernus is dead. He also gives a little donation there of 400 souls, which is very nice. And now we're sitting on 2.5k gold, so he could go straight into Sharpshooter or Headhunter. I'm not sure if he will, but that's something that he could do. Also, you take towers very fast on Mirage, and definitely keep track of your objective damage. Look at your games, see how much objective damage you're doing. If it's towards the lower end, definitely try to look at that and try to maximize your objective damage. Maybe make it a challenge for yourself where you try to get as much objective damage as possible in a game and then just see what's up. Goes for the TP there. Tornadoes Abrams, so he can't get out. Are we gonna get pocket 2? I think we will. Also notice he bought slowing bullets and combat barrier there. It's just very nice whenever chasing people. I mean, look at the Minikta there. She's losing a lot of movement speed. If they do chase us, we do have our fire scarab stacking up. Another nice thing that you can do with Mirage 3 is if you see somebody really far away, you can just try to hit one shot on them and then just leave it there. You don't need to press your 3. And then after a couple of seconds, the 3 pops and it reveals them on the minimap. So it's really nice to reveal what the opponent is doing. If they went back to the jungle, if they're trying to gank something, you can just see their pathing by just putting your 3 on them and waiting it out. Another thing that you can do if somebody's half HP, you put your 3 on them, they would run away maybe, and then when the 3 pops, you try to time your ult on top of them. It's a very situational play, but that's something that you can mess around with. Another quality of life change, it didn't come in this patch, but in the patch previously, is if you press your 4 on Mirage, you can actually press on the character portraits on the top. You don't need to click on them on the minimap anymore, so it's very efficient to TP. It's super easy to do now. As long as you see them on the minimap, you can click on their portrait at the top and you can teleport to them. And since the waves are in a good state and there's not super much to do, actually McGinnis gets ulted by Lash. I think we can probably... Yeah, Lash just dies. and then we're back to the jungle. But whenever there's not much to do, we just jungle or we try to do things during downtime. The main priority will always be waves and objectives, especially in lower, mid, I would even say mid-high elo up to Phantom, roughly around there. And then when you get into higher elo, I would say somewhere around Ascendant Eternus, you will be fighting more, you will be more proactive on the map. But in ranks below that, you should really focus on waves and objectives and just see how high you can push that objective damage. I promise you it's going to make a massive difference in your games and you're going to feel like you're in more control. We buy Swift Striker, just getting a lot of fire rate going. We don't need to rush Sharpshooter or Headhunter here. We can just go for our 1250s. I mean, the 1250s are insane on Mirage in general. He goes double barrier and we just have so much fire rate. We're super tanky, especially with our Scarabs. Also, another thing that's nice about Mirage is the fact that he can play in any lane. He can play in solo lane and he can play in duo lane. He's a crazy bully in duo lanes because he doesn't really need to go in and he just shuts down people so easily. Look at that damage, by the way. He just shuts down people so easily if they want to go in with his tornado. He can also catch people off guard, so it's up to you what you prefer, really. If you prefer duo lane, go there. If you prefer solo lane, go there. He can win in both types of lanes. There's a tornado on the Paradox. Not sure if we're going to be surviving this one. There's a lot of people here. Just 3 on us right now. I mean, if McGinnis survives, it's fine. We got the Walker, so all good. Sometimes trading a Walker for your life can be pretty good. There's nothing wrong with doing that. If you are split pushing, a general rule that I try to follow is that once you get the objective, you want to leave as soon as possible. Better players are pinging the map. They are communicating whenever you're pushing an objective. So just being able to leave or trying to leave as soon as it goes down generally helps with that timing. Overstaying and greeding for it normally leads to them piling up on you. I think he's saving for his first 3k item here. He's on 2.2 and he didn't buy anything. I think he's looking to upgrade into Sharpshooter. Again, just gives us a lot of weapon damage and a lot of value on Mirage in general. Since there's not super much to do on the map right now, we just go for the jungle camps. Looks like the enemy team can go for the urn. And that's another thing you can do on Mirage. You're a very effective split pusher. So, for example, here, he can teleport to the left side and just push with the Warden. And then, depending on what happens on the right side of the map, he can just teleport over there with his ult. I mean, it's something that you could do on a lot of different characters in general. I mean, if the enemy team or your team is going for the urn, you can always play on the opposite side. And then when the teleporters are opened at 8 minutes, you can always use them to join the fight. So it's up to you to make that call. If I'm going to stay to push the wave, or if I'm going to push the Walker, or if it's looking good, or if I need to join my team, I can always teleport over there, regardless of what character I'm playing. I mean, if I'm playing more of a team fighter, let's say like an Abrams Lash or something like that, I definitely do want to be there for the urn. But since we're playing a character like Mirage, we're not necessarily needed there, and we can just split push and get a lot of things done. I mean, we see 4 people on the right side of the map here. 3 of our teammates are pushing that lane on our side, which means that we can probably just get the Walker. If somebody does show up, we can always teleport out. We have our tornado as well. Trying to kite away from the flame dash there. Gets the Walker. Goes for the jump pad there. Remember, use the launch pads, guys. They're very good. Let's see. Tornadoes the Infernus. Don't think this is looking good. I mean, again, we're dying for the Walker, and I think that's perfectly fine. We had to trade the Walker because the enemy team got the one in the bottom right. Now we have 2 Walkers, and we have a flex slot open. Again, he gets Sharpshooter, also gets Suppressor there. Suppressor in general is a really good item on Mirage. Again, all of our abilities are doing spirit damage, so Suppressor gives us a lot of value. Another item that he doesn't build here, though, that is very nice for Mirage is Slowing Hex. If you look at the enemy team comp, Slowing Hex gives us a lot of value. Abrams can charge, Lash can't jump, Pocket can't teleport to his 2, Vindicta can't jump, and Infernus can't flame dash. If you gank with your Traveler ability, Slowing Hex gives you a lot of value in this game. That's just something to consider. It's not something that you have to build. I mean, we have a lot of tools to catch people who have the tornado as well, but just in general in this game, Slowing Hex will shut down a lot of the players. So maybe you buying Slowing Hex instead of Suppressor might have given him a little bit more value. Regardless, I think the build is fine. It's just something to think about. That damage is just insane. You see it. He's very big right now. He's at 15k. I mean, the game is kind of close. It's 90k against 88k. But one nice thing about Mirage is that he doesn't need a lot of net worth to be valuable. For example, a Mirage on 15k is way stronger than an Infernus at 15k. Taking a fight here. He's in a 1v3 situation. Trying to kite back into the haze there and Warden because they are coming to our lane. Maybe he's baiting a bit here. He does have his Scarabs up, so if they do chase him, he can start building that HP. He is very low HP right now. He could go back to base and then teleport back into the fight. Also, during that chase, our team got the Walker on the left side there. So I like how active his team is. Gets a debuff reducer there. I think a debuff remover this game is also crazy value. Again, you can remove Vindicta Stake, Vindicta Crow, Infernus Burn. Pocket ult, Paradox Silence. Also with the debuff remover, you can always parry Abrams if he shoulder charges you into a wall, so that's also very nice. Don't be scared of building defensive items, and the way that I decide what defensive item I like to build is that I look at the enemy team and I just think to myself, what am I actually afraid of? What is preventing me from taking a fight? And then I just start thinking about what items prevent whatever I'm scared about, right? So in this scenario, I mean, I'm scared of Invicta Stake, I'm scared of Infernus Burn, I'm scared of Pocket Ult because it's gonna take over time, right? So being able to remove them is very nice. And then also if Abrams goes all in on me, I want to be able to parry him in case he punches. Insane amounts of damage on Mirage right now. Again, we don't have a crazy amount of net worth, but his gun just does so much damage. He's shooting so fast. It's giving a lot of value to his team. Very good TP as well. Yeah, Abrams is going more of a gun-oriented Abrams. As you can see, he doesn't have melee charge. He's probably not going to try to melee as much as other Abrams players, but having a debuff reducer to begin with already helps us so much, and then potentially later in the game we can build it into a debuff remover. Looks like the earned delivery is on the enemy side. Now we're about 20,000 gold up, and around this time, there is a scenario in the game where all walkers are down. Let's actually look at this team fight and talk about that later. Also, Mirage doesn't have to be in the middle of the fight. He can hover the team. He can play a little bit outside and kind of try... And you should try to just pick the situation where you tornado. You want to use it at the right spot. Of course, don't look for the perfect moment because it's not going to happen. You know, just try to get some value out of your tornado. But at least think twice before using it and see where you can get the most value out of it in a fight. Also, keep in mind that if you lift somebody with your tornado, they can still punch. So it's not a foolproof ability to use in order to prevent a mid-boss steal. But you can use it to cut them off in order for them to not get close enough to the Rejuvenator. But if they are at the Rejuvenator and they get lifted, they can still punch. I want to talk about the scenario where all 4 walkers are down. In a lot of games, when all 4 walkers are down, as you can see now, people just go for jungle camps, they go back to farming, they don't try to push the game forward. So what I want you to try is just try to make a call and try to get at least 1 or 2 people to follow. And this can be something like faking the mid-boss, it can be going for the urn and forcing a fight on their side of the map if you have the gold lead. And it's just doing so much damage, it's insane. With Mirage, you need to be hitting your shots. I think aim is quite important with this character, but that's always something you can practice. But again, not a crazy net worth on him right now, but just doing so much damage and he has so much control over the game. But yeah, just try to push your game forward with objectives, and it's fine if the urn gets stolen, if you lose the fight, or if they steal the mid-boss, because that will give you valuable experience. You're gonna learn what situations is good to do certain calls, and I would rather you do it now than when you eventually reach higher elo. It will just help you with making calls in general, and games will end sooner than they normally do. Also, Ricochet there, super good item on Mirage, but just make sure that you are strong before you buy it. Normally the first 6k item is either Crippling Headshot or Siphon Bullets, depending on what path you want to do, if you want to do gun damage or if you want to be tanky. I think you also Ricochet here just to farm and clear waves faster. I mean, technically he doesn't need more damage, he just needs a bit more pressure. Also, being able to stack your 3 on multiple targets just gives you so much value right now, because we also have Suppressor. So being able to get the Suppressor debuff up on multiple targets in a fight is very valuable. If we do need more damage, I think he would have went for a Crippling Headshot here. If he felt like he needed to be a bit more tanky, would have went for Siphon Bullets. Goes for the buff there, as it's just hovering. Then if the team is just holding on to the urn, they don't want to give it to us. And that's something you need to do. Whenever the enemy team has a Rejuvenator buff from mid-boss, you just need the turtle in your base. Too many people try to go out of their base to go for jungle camps, they greed for an extra wave, and they die. They get caught out. The enemy team with the Rejuve have numbers, they push your base, and the game just ends. So it's about just playing it defensively. A lot of players do not have that patience. Even in high elo, they don't. They really try to push the limits. I think the tornado was a bit too early there. It was used to catch the pocket off guard, but I think it's important to save it for Paradox Swap or Lash Ult or something like that. I think it's still fine. I mean, we're super tanky with all of our barriers. We have so much damage, so they can't really do super much to us. As you saw, the pocket came in and Lash ulted too. And we have 3000 HP right now, which is just super tanky at this point in the game. I think we're just trying to get some numbers going here so we can pressure the objectives. The goal is definitely to try to drop the patron. I don't think they can end the game just yet. I think they just have to drop the patron somehow and get out. Tornado's out to not get sniped by the Vindicta. Teleports out to a teammate. That's a really good use of Traveler. We just have to get out. Here's what's going on over there. They're still fighting. Wonder if they will actually get to drop the patron. I mean, Sharik is speeding back to base. I think he will look to probably come back here actually, because we have 2 kills. We still have all of our rejuves up except for Haze. So I think the right play is just to go back into the base and straight back into the fight. I think we need to try to drop that patron, like I said. So it's important to establish a goal whenever you have the rejuve, and I think it's been called to just try to drop the patron. Yeah, we're gonna be dropping the patron, and I think we're gonna go out. One change in the last 2 patches is that when you drop the patron, the enemy team respawn faster, so it's Valve's way of forcing a final fight before the game ends to give the enemy team a final chance to do something. Makes the game feel a bit more interactive. I don't know what I think about that change, but it is what it is. It's completely fine. And since we don't have the mid-boss buff anymore, we don't need to push our luck. I see why he went for Ricochet. Now he went Ricochet into Toxic Bullets. It's just a really nice way of spreading anti-heal onto the enemy team. I mean, if you look, they do have a lot of healing. They have Abrams and Infernus mainly. Paradox also heals whenever she does her swap, so just being able to shut down a lot of that healing is very, very valuable. Creates a lot of pressure on the enemy team. Again, it doesn't give us a lot of damage, but again, having Ricochet and being able to spread Toxic Bullets is insane. Another nice thing about Ricochet is that it gives you 10% fire rate. So again, we have a lot of fire rate in this game in general, which is why he can output so much damage. We're really, really efficient at clearing waves with Ricochet, and we can farm jungle camps very fast too. Mirage's gun has very high bullet velocity too, so whenever you're laning, you have a very high chance of securing souls, and you can try your luck at denying too. Looks like Pocket gets caught by a warden there, and now we have numbers, so now we're in a 6v5 situation, and we can look to continue. So another way to push the game forward is, again, by playing numbers. If you feel like somebody throughout the game has been extra communicative, or they've been playing really well with your calls, then you can always ask them. Maybe, let's say it's the warden or the McGinnis in this game. You can just ask, hey McGinnis, can we go into the enemy jungle? We can try to catch someone with your wall or something like that. I have my tornado. You catch someone off guard, you're in a 65 situation, and then you have the numbers to win the fight. I mean, we're 40k up right now as well. Just have such a massive gold lead, so we can basically win any fight that we take. Pocket is still not alive, so we can just stack up here and try to go for something together. Might actually die there. Yeah, he gets hit by way too many things. There's a swap coming in as well. Let's see what's going on in this fight here. Viv finds Abrams. Looks like we have a team fight on our hands here. I think Pocket is still very, very strong in this patch. He did get a little bit nerfed, but I think Pocket is in a pretty good spot. Just as a little side note, as Sharik is respawning, he will have his ultimate ability available when he spawns, so he can always TP in if anything. Or McGinnis is trying to go back. It's a support McGinnis, so he has Rescue Beam, he has Debuff Remover, he has Heroic Aura, but McGinnis in general does so much damage, regardless of whatever build you do. I should probably cover McGinnis in one of my future videos, I think. That's something that I definitely want to do. The buffs are up, I think it's going to go for the casting buff. This one's really nice because it gives you Spirit Power, and it also gives you cooldown reduction, 20% cooldown reduction at this stage in the game. Remember that buffs are scaling now, so the first buffs that spawn at 10-15 minutes are not as strong as the late game buffs. Looks like the enemy team want to go for the urn. Curious if we will be contesting this here. I mean, we are over 20k gold ahead. We can probably find a pick here, or we can just make a call to give them the urn. It's also not the end of the world. We don't necessarily need to force anything here, but let's see. The mid boss is up, so we can go for that to fake a fight while they're at the urn. Curious if they will be faking. It looks like his team is starting it out. Yeah, they are. He's farming some jungle camps. Buys an armor before the rejuve goes down. This will be the final team fight of the game. We secure it. See, with Mirage, as I said before, you don't need to be in the middle of the fight. Notice how he's just hovering outside of the fight and just shooting the enemy team as much as possible. We do have so much damage right now. Teleports onto the Vindicta to catch her off guard. Vindicta dies. I think Inferno is going to get caught here too. Again, we have our suppressor and we're just deleting him from the map. But yeah, you don't need to be in the middle of the fight. Just spread your 3 and then just look for opportunities to stack your scarabs, and then use your tornado situationally just to see if you can catch someone or if you need it as an escape tool. I mean, if Lash ults, that's a way to counter, right? Overall, a really clean Mirage VOD. He's in a really good spot right now, so definitely try him out. I've been having a lot of fun on Mirage. And here's the post-game screen for this one. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye-bye.